It's good morning, Brendan Rogers. Thank you for joining us at Yellow Shelf.
Thanks for having me, Joanna.
It's my pleasure. Your podcast, Leader by Design. Tell us all about it. What do we need to know about this fabulous podcast?
Well, Leader by Design is actually it's a second podcast of mine, so it's relatively new. I've only done about 20 odd episodes, I think it is, and I've had a hiatus for the last 8, 12 weeks. Myself and my wife are carers as well, so we've had kids come to us. So it's challenge. We're talking about kids offline and challenges.
Yeah.
But basically, the Leader by Design concept, which I've just actually renamed now to Why Your Podcast Isn't Growing and How to Fix It. And it's one of those things I learned from my first podcast, which I still do, which is the culture of leadership. That I wasn't focused. The name wasn't sort of focusing on what I was trying to do enough. So when I came up with the name. That's the brand that I go from, but it's really helping leaders, so business leaders and business owners, basically managing their business better, growing their business better, and off the back of that is, supporting that is growing their teams. So learning to manage their team, because you know as well as I do that most business owners, particularly business owners, but business leaders, they're going into organizations, they're technically quite good. They built this business if they're a business owner, but then when their business grows and you start to manage a team and stuff, that's a whole other black box of challenges and things. So my goal in life is to help leaders, business owners manage their teams better, means they can manage their business better, ultimately bring some harmony to their life. And this is some of the stuff I talk about through the podcast and sharing bits and pieces of some gold nuggets I've got from some people and hopefully some gold nuggets I've developed myself over time.
Yeah. And look, I couldn't agree more, even from my experience in the world of corporate and a career in HR. I think, leading people is really challenging.
Mm.
And, you get brilliant technical individuals who then need to start leading people. And it is incredibly stressful. It's difficult. And we really need tools like this, like your podcast. Tell us what inspired you, Brendan, to start the podcast. You said you had a previous podcast, and you're obviously extensively experienced. But what about this podcast? Tell us why you started it and what was the back and anything about your background.
Yeah, well, to be honest, the main focus was the fact that with Culture of Leadership, it's an interview podcast, and as we've already spoken about, the ability to meet fantastic people, learn from their stories, learn from their experiences, learn from their stuff, all that sort of stuff is really powerful. But you don't always get the chance to showcase what you're about and how you think about things. So my first and foremost thing was say, you know what, I wanted to have a podcast that was more a narrative style, which is they're tough to do, to be honest, but more of a narrative style, short, sharp, and really focusing in on some of the stuff that I do, how I think about things, the simplicity of leadership. Because, like you alluded to, there's so much sort of black box, dark magic around leadership and how to be this great leader and how to lead people well and all that sort of stuff. But, what I've learned over sort of 30 years of having the privilege of leading people and screwing up a lot of times is there's some key stuff. It's that 80-20 rule, right? There's some key stuff that if you can focus on the 20% of stuff from a leadership perspective, then it'll actually cover 80% of the challenges you come across. And then the rest of it comes into getting to a little bit of mastery and diving deeper into stuff. And once people have got some of those basics sorted out, it's amazing the confidence that builds. And I'm all about creating confident leaders through that process. So once they do that, they start to go on their own journey. They start to discover, top shows like Yellow Shelf and where they might find some more leadership insights and all those sorts of things. So that was really the focus and the intent. And also going back to my own journey, I mean, I didn't have this sort of stuff at my fingertips when I started leading people in the late 90s. So, you always relate back to your own journey. How can I make that journey hopefully a little bit easier, a little bit more seamless, a few less stuff ups for some other people?
Yeah. And what I like is, once you start if you've been promoted as a leader and you're leading people and it's challenging, once you start on that journey and you get some tools and you get some experience, even the good and the bad experience, you then are able to back yourself. And it's such a transformation, isn't it?
Oh, it's a massive transformation. And like I said, the confidence that grows from that. So, again, I'm fortunate through my one-on-one coaching clients. Most of those clients are business owners and they're family-owned businesses. So I love working with people who are spending their own money. There's a massive difference in the commitment level. But, they've been these sort of hands-on hustlers for such a long time and they've grown their business. And it's not that they don't want to, they actually want to move forward, but they're not really sure on how to move forward and become more of a high-impact leader, which is what I talk about. So, my goal is to get them on this journey journey of understanding the hustle and how that works, how that's got them to where they are today. But it's going to, it's a recipe for burnout moving forward as this business grows and as it has grown. And then we make your leadership more high impact and how you impact on yourself, your business, other people, and really create some leverage and some legacy moving forward.
Yeah. And Brendan, tell us if we're curious about this show or the renaming of the show, your other shows. I'll put this in the show notes. Tell
Mhm.
us, how do we connect with you if we're curious to work with you, curious about the podcast? Let us know how to find you on socials.
Yeah, well, look, LinkedIn's probably my main platform. We're on various socials, but LinkedIn is the best one for conversations. And then we're on all the podcast channels, so Apple, Spotify, the main ones that are out there. So, why your podcast isn't, why your business isn't growing and how to fix it. And then cultural leadership is our interview show. So we've done about 140 plus episodes of that one.
Awesome. Well, keep going. You're doing really well, and
Thank
individuals
you.
out there are benefiting. Businesses are benefiting. Thanks for joining us today at Yellow Shelf, Brendan.
Been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.